Is there really a soul? Yes, there is. Namaste. The mechanical process of breathing, this organic and inherent gift of inspiring and expiring the grace from the outside, enter the body and then back out, is separate and a different process of breathing when we utilize our energy locks or the bandhas. So one is inherent, right? But one is something that we could develop using our energy locks. And when we are able to combine these two processes, then we would be able to separate the energy, the spirit, you might call it soul or consciousness, from the breath. Yes, they are really very different. They are separate. Although commonly, when we breathe in and out, when we breathe, the energy, or the spirit or the soul, blends with the breath. Thus, this energy is the cause for the life to flow, to nourish our organs inside, to keep the organs functioning. Without this energy blending with the breath, there's no life. It's the cause of our existence. So this beautiful gift of breathing is actually an opportunity for us to feel the radiance of this energy. But if you want to really go past the stage, go beyond the stage, you can actually experience the full nature, the true nature of this energy, which is absolute and free and pure through the use of our energy locks. And in breathing or directing, flowing this energy using our energy locks. All right. And that is actually the process of Kundalini rising in a nutshell. Right. Without this inherent gift of breathing, it will not happen. Because somehow you will use the process, the inspiring and the exhaling, for you to access your own energy. But with the energy locks, you would be able to do them separately. And the sensation is actually different when you allow these two forces or two actions to happen together inside the body. And this is really an actual sensation, actual experience. All right. Another important element that will play a very vital role in processing the energy would be the tongue, really. All right. In traditional yoga texts, there are like methods for us to develop sensitivity of the tongue, but I didn't do them. I didn't cut the base of my tongue, no. I solely depend and then crack through the process using breath regulation and asanas, kriyas generally. So, for me, the safest path and a more meaningful path is actually through the body itself and then by controlling the flow of the breath. So asanas and breathing works. And they are actually the most efficient way for us to develop our energy locks. Because the energy locks would be the main component needed for you to process that separate energy from the mechanical process of breathing in and breathing out. Without the energy locks, this will not happen. All right. So we don't want to be caught up with the idea of the separation if the energy locks are not present. that is the problem of the process, because we're so rushing things. And then we get attracted to other means and ways, because it will actually happen through, for example, have to be very specific, the use of substances, right? Especially hallucinating substances. This could actually happen through that, but I don't really recommend that. It's not healthy. All right. It could also happen by going through, for example, hypnosis. All right. I don't recommend that as well, because we need to know how to get in and out of the experience safely, using our own awareness and using our own energy locks. That is the safest and more meaningful path. So we don't hurt ourselves, we don't hurt the nervous system, because we are actually dealing with actual electricity when we do this technique. Alright, so going back to our lesson. Now, when the energy locks become so efficient, you will be able now to actually use the energy locks to access and flow your own primal energy. And that is the Kundalini energy. That is actually the absolute energy I'm talking about. Alright. It's the soul. It's the spirit that we all hold inside our body, particularly down the hips. But normally it's not open. Alright. Through the kriyas, the breathing works, the Kundalini energy will inevitably flow up. Alright. Now, over a long period of time, when you become so efficient managing, directing your own energy, because you will definitely need that for you to safely practice all those complex elements like asanas and breathing works. Without the energy locks, and then you practice those complex elements, there is a huge possibility of hurting yourself, especially the vital inner organs and stuff. So it's actually an organic process. Somehow, your mind, your nervous system will remember the sensation that it would be natural for you to access the energy locks, for you to practice those elements safely. It all connects here. It all connects to the nervous system. That's why I'm really a proponent of practicing the elements over and over and over and over and over again, until the body forgets, until you don't have to think about it, and it becomes so natural for you to access the energy locks, for you to be able to practice those elements safely without you thinking. All right. So it's a way of controlling the autonomic functions of our nervous system. Yes, in scientific terms, that's what I'm trying to say. And then when you're able now to develop the skill, the tongue would actually learn its own way of moving inside, because actually the tongue has a direct connection here. So the tongue will just be able to learn some distinct movement inside. It will retract backwards. The tip of the tongue will slide to the left, to the right, depending on the nature and the requirement of a certain element. If, for example, you wanted to access deep down the left channel, the tip of the tongue will have to slide and dig into the right bottom part of your mouth inside. So somehow it curls and it coils inside the body. It pulls back, for you to narrow the pathway. So all of this are collective works that you will learn, because the nervous system will remember the sensation. Alright, so these are very organic, very organic. But why am I telling you all this? For the sake of study, of course, and just for the sake of giving you a descriptive explanation of how the Kundalini, the energy, the spirit rises up, and the separation between the breath and this absolute form of energy, because this is really a process, a scientific process that we could all learn through practice. So there's no magical about it. There's no superpower about it. All right, now, inside the body, when we are able now to learn how to use our energy locks to process our own energy, and this inherent gift of breathing and inspiring and exhaling, inside the body they feel really different sensations. Right? I've mentioned in the past tutorials that as we inspire, the grace enters the body. And that is actually one of the precepts of, for example, the Ujjayi breath, or all the breathing works actually. You allow the grace to enter the body through the gaseous air. Normally when we breathe in, our own energy blends with the breath, and that becomes a source of life. Now, the separation is actually this. With the utilization of our tongue, because the tongue would retract back a bit, to narrow the pathway of the backs of the throat. It's actually the concept behind the Ujjayi breath. If you want to look at the past tutorials I've given about the mini breathing works, you may want to take a look at them as well, so you can study them individually. All right. As the tongue retracts back a bit, you allow now the inspiration or the inspiring of the breath to pass through the fronts of that pathway. So let me angle the spine. So the inspiring or the air will pass through the front and then will hit downwards. Now the energy locks inside will do their collective work actually of processing your own energy upwards. I did mention before that our breath is a rising current. When I say the breath is a rising current, I mean our own energy is rising. And then with the utilization of our energy locks, we would be able to do the process of directing the energy to rise higher. But as it rises, or as this energy ascends up, it will actually pass through the backs of the body, the left and the right channel inside, Ida Pingala, and finally deep down the central canal or the Sushumna. Using the energy locks, actually the energy locks will process the energy. Some of it will pass through the radiance, the widespread sensation can be felt passing through the right and the left channel, but the absolute energy with the utilization of the tongue, because the tongue will actually catch the tip of the energy with the energy locks, and then that absolute form could be allowed to pass through the central canal. Inside the body, it feels different. These two processes really feel different. The inspiring passes through the front, so you can feel it brush through the fronts of the lungs inside. So you breathe so light that you don't want to be filling that lungs, the whole of its region with that breath, because you will actually separate the two sensations as they happen inside. Like you are creating a thin line, a thin separation, a sheet between the fronts and the backs of the body, so you allow the breath to rise to the center. So what happens there is actually this. As the air enters, it passes through the front, but your own energy rises through the backs, and there's a line which separates them. And that is actually one of the concepts of kumbhakas. When you say kumbhakas, you're breathing so light, you are still breathing, you're not actually technically holding and stopping the breath, although there are ways to I would say investigate by stopping the breath, so you can actually just isolate the sensation. But actually the kumbhakas, in order for them to remain safe and supporting your organs, they still have to breathe, but so light, that you can actually just feel the breath pass through the fronts, and then just allow the organs inside to function. Right? Because you will be needing the air for you to allow the lungs and the heart to function healthily. Right? While, on the other hand, you're using the energy locks to flow your own energy up, and they are two separate actions. One is heading downwards, and then the other one is heading upwards. And they don't touch. There's something in the middle that separates them. Really, that's how it feels inside the body. Your own energy passes through the backs inside, while the energy from the outside lightly passes through the front. So inside the body, they feel like that. Yeah. Like circular action, but they don't touch. Alright. Now, over a progressive practice, this sensation will even go more profound. That, again, your nervous system will be able to remember them. Thus, when your nervous system remembers all the sensation through practice, the elements over and over again, then you will become more efficient. Yeah. Now, the final stage is actually when, of course, the kriyas or the cleansing work would have to be performed in practice over and over again, because they are necessary to clear the blockages, because you won't be able to actually lift that energy up if there are blockages inside. So the kriyas and the cleansing work would have to be practiced progressively. Yeah. Finally, when the Sushumna canal opens up and there are no blockages getting in the way, together with the tongue working inside, you can actually allow that thin line of energy to pierce through the neck and really high up the tip of the spine, where at the top, inside and at the center of the brain lies the pineal gland. And then you are actually now using that thin line of energy, the energy that you have been processes over a long period of time to rise, to touch and stimulate that part of the nervous system inside. And when it happens, that's where you can experience the absolute nature of the seed energy, the soul, the spirit, the pure consciousness. And then when you meditate upon that, you can allow that part of you to exit the body, while the bandhas keep you alive inside. And then with this ability as well, just to inspire so lightly the breath, so you keep the functions of your organs healthy. So you are still breathing, but behind the breathing process, you are using the energy locks to direct that energy up. And then when it reaches there, it will just exit the body, but you know you are meditating because of the energy locks inside, very strong to hold you supported in the light. And then with this breath remaining light, you allow the grace to keep nourishing the body while you experience the true absolute nature of the soul. Right? That's Samadhi actually. So this brings me to the question of, is there really a soul? Yes, there is. And we could actually learn how to experience the true nature of the soul through meditation. Yes, and the meditation is, the path that I took is actually very scientific, something which we could understand from the physical body and the breath. And then through the progressive practice of the elements, we would be able to learn the skill of separating the breath from the spirit. Right? So when this physical body dies, because we just the body is just the house, yeah, it's a gift, right? But the body will die, the breath will stop, yeah. And then when this gift of breathing in and out stops, yeah, we die, the organs die, but the energy remains alive and exits. In meditation, you can actually feel that, but of course, you know how to get back. So you allow that energy to come back in. Otherwise, you will die if you stop the breath. So this is really a very scientific process. You know that you are meditating while you experience a consciousness. But when we die, when this physical body decays, it completely exits the body and will enter its next host for that soul, or for that next life to experience its pure presence once more. If we, for example, if it doesn't happen this lifetime, this will continue to the next until we're able to finish the whole process. And the spirit becomes free. It's the process ends. The process of this entanglement with the transient, the blockages, yeah, finishes, and we become liberated. So if you are given this rare opportunity in this lifetime to experience it, it's a calling, it's a gift. That the nature of this energy is so pure that we don't want to inflict harm to anything which dwells it. Whether it be a person or any living or inanimate creation. So the beauty of this process is actually knowing the nature, that we are pure, every one of us. What is inside me is inside you. We are just a reflection of each other. And then when this physical body decays, there's no separation at all, because what is inside you is the same force, the same spirit and energy that dwells inside you. And then when we die, they just blend together again for the next host to dwell that same energy. So the beauty is the promotion of welfare, understanding, support will lift each other up. So we help each other to maybe not experience the full nature, but at least we become instruments of understanding and realizing that we all have this gift, and every one of us is divine. Good. So that's really a lovely way to end the practice, to end the lesson. Until the next tutorial. Namaste.